This is your daily market review for Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trade Nation. This is your daily market review for Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Hopefully you're doing well. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys have been amazing. The market in itself, interesting action based on what? It sounds like Joe is dropping out of the race. I'm also hearing some other things about Joe that, again, I mean, good luck. I wish him the best. Sounds like his health is falling apart quickly. That's just the nature of the beast when you get old. But anyway, I wish him the best. We know going into the rest of the week, it's kind of a vacuum before the Fed meeting next Wednesday, in my opinion. Again, the backfilling today, pretty strong. Can't deny that. Is it sustainable? That's the question that I was trying to ask folks. And it's, again, if you look at the economic data, again, it's not good. But, you know, we know going into next week, there's no rate cut. And the markets are anticipating them. But again, as we talked about, Trump basically said, don't cut rates before the election. What will happen? Again, it feels very like 2008, where we knew 2007 was a joke. We knew it was bad. Then things really got bad in front of the election because then the headlines became real, right? All of a sudden, everything that was hush-hush came to the forefront. And so knowing that, I think the volatility is absolutely going to stay and pick up. So if any questions, check out the Discord room. Again, sign up for the newsletter on the website. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are great. And again, follow on Twitter, posting a ton of trades. Also post some of my real estate stuff. Speaking of, if you have any questions about buying, selling, investing in real estate, please don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Take a free consultation, 30 minutes. Let's chat, see what I can do to help you. Again, if I'm not available, reschedule, but here for you. Let me know I can help. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on any platform you are watching this on. I appreciate it. Also, check out the Back to Basics education series. There's so much of it. So what do we know right now? We know, again, as we said, there's nothing expected next week unless a colossal 10% down market or collapse. Nothing's going to change. We know going into the following meeting, we got we got a 25 basis point cut. I mean, if things are really getting bad, you're going to see 50, 75. And that's the thing. If the greater the cut, the worse things are going to be. The worst things are getting. And I mean, I'm on record. I mean, the market and the economy has been slow, sluggish, and again, not talked about for the last year. Well, now going into the election, it's under the microscope. You got to remember that. Bitcoin, again, I feel like it hasn't refreshed. Oh, it always does this. As we talked about, again, it's tough to trust Bitcoin, gold, any really commodity until the actual Fed's pivot. And so knowing that, I think you're in choppy ranges, right? Bitcoin's just in this range. I'd be watching the 70,000. Oils, we talked about, overbought, rallied into the hurricane. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news when it hits land. Demand destruction is real. Just kind of watching it hang out. Natural gas had an okay day. Not surprised. Oversold bounce. Congrats. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, this is the big one. Okay, we'll see. I mean, I personally think it's just going to be a choppy action. It went from oversold, overbought to oversold. And now what, right? It's got to play out. So if you have any questions about commodities, don't hesitate to reach out. Dollar. Talked about needs to hold these mid 28s. So far, so good. TLT. Again, watching this. I mean, it hit the 50-day today. Got my eye on that. Watching the multi-day. Again, I'm looking for a multi-day rate range low. That's what I want to see to form to try to buy more UBT. So that's the plan. The VIX, not surprised, took a backslide today. Keep an eye on it. It just kind of nature of the beast. You spike in the VIX quick, you can always come back quick. VIX is Volatility Index. SPY. What do we know, right? Goes overbought, oversold, chopping on 20-day. People think, is this gap going to fill? Is this gap going to fill? Is this gap going to fill? I mean, there's a lot of gaps. Zoom out, guys. There are a lot of gaps. There's a gap here. There's a gap here. There's a gap here. There's a gap there. It needs to fill. Yeah, lots of gaps. Lots of fun gaps. So, again, what do we think near term? I mean, again, today, tomorrow, that's hard to predict oversoldness near term. But as we've talked about, again, I don't think this Joe Biden stuff dropping out of the race really actually sustains bullishness. Because again, now everything is priced in perfectly for Trump. There's only downside in my potential, meaning like downside potential for things to happen against Trump in the election, again, in the market being comfortable with that. So keep an eye on it. QQQ again goes oversold, bounces, not surprised. IWM, talked about it, watching the range lows. Nice little rally. I mean, I'm surprised we closed this high because, again, most of the day was kind of slacking until later on. Okay. I mean, I'd be watching the 222 area. DIA, mostly lagging during the day as well, and then kind of caught a little pump, but it's just a doji, nothing much. Gold posted about this. Like, it's tough to trust. I mean, this candle, I mean, back-to-back dojis, different direction. It's a pretty typical formation of indecision. Fake out, break out, and then rally back. Now, again, I'd be curious to see how it handles going into the FOMC meeting, but I mean, silver here at support, GDX, a lot of these names pull back near term. Could they bounce? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. Like, people think everything has to go down or up one direction or all the time, and it's just not the case. AEM, we've talked about this leading, acting better, pulling back. AG, lagging, holding around this 200-day area. I mean, if you really want to trade it, I mean, you've got to reference Newmont. We like this one for a breakout when it got over 43. Just, again, raise your stops on this stuff. I don't trust it. You have earnings coming out on some of these names as well. AEM on Thursday afternoon. If you've got any of this stuff, please raise your stops, hedge your positions, do what you need to do, be safe. Taiwan Semi, talked about this, getting beaten post-earnings, now chopping at the 50-day. Again, I mean, you go from 192 down to 165. There's going to be some choppiness. Micron, I mean, this thing can barely get off the floor, which is interesting. Keep an eye on this. I mean, I don't know, 107. AMD, again, a lot of these names got oversold quickly back at the 200-day. Could they bounce back up? That's what you should be looking for. Again, this is why we talk about trading around positions. Shorting is not a forever trade. NVIDIA is watching tomorrow, 125, multi-day range, watching this area because, again, we'll reload. SMCI, yeah, chopping around in a big range. Your guess is good as mine where it's going next. Intellectual property, we talked about this one. Once it broke out, hits the 100-day, fills the gap, chopping out. Chopping out would be bullish, in my opinion, if it can just hold. SMH dropped fast, 50-day. Again, I hope you see this pattern. Like, you can't just expect things to go one direction every day. Adobe, looking for a short on this anywhere up in the 580s. The fruit, chopping around, not much love today. Watching the 20-day. That's all. I mean, it looks like an island floating reversal. Keep that in mind. Amazon's, the Amazonian, just chilling here around the 100-day, gaps up, gives it all back. I mean, it's lighter volume. Looks like a little bit of consolidation. Again, remember, these names have earnings coming up. Meta held the 460s, bouncing. Okay, again, this is the nature of the beast. Not one direction every day. CRM, looks like it's topped out near term, just chopping around. Google, these names have been acting pretty well. Again, 50-day, I'd probably be looking for the 20-day. Now the 20-day is resistance. Remember that now that you're below it. Microsoft missed a softy. Hold support, gaps up. I mean, again, I'd be watching the 20-day. On all these names that broke the 20-day, that's what I'd be looking for them to fail at. NDAQ, again, you are in the short zone. This one has cheap long-term puts, in my opinion. MicroStrategy, interesting candle, interesting day. I mean, I'd be watching for a pivot. Tomorrow, you need to see follow through if you want to trust it. Then you can get back to 2000. If not, this could be a left-right combo or a doji sandwich. This is why today's action of indecision makes you go, well, I got to see what tomorrow brings. Just keep that in mind. Be careful. Netflix, chopping around post earnings. I mean, again, inside day, nothing. I mean, you can watch this earnings day. If it breaks below the 100-day, it's going lower. Man, that 20-day is going to be a bitch, in my opinion. Just keep it on it. Roblox, chopping around. We've talked about this one. Again, it's been bouncing ever since its capitulation. PanW, I mean, again, I think they're the winner from the CrowdStrike issue in time. I like this name. However, I'm just waiting for pullbacks. Tesla, nice update today on it. It's chopping around. And again, we talked about once you went ripping, this is either going to lead to consolidation or failure at some point. And with consolidation, obviously, you need to get over the 270s to really blast off. Any questions or thoughts on it? Hit me up. Insight, again, I like this company. I think they will get bought out in time. However, coming into resistance, hope it backs up because I'd like to buy some later. McDonald's, we talked about this formation of a bear trap. Now it's chopping around the 50-day. I know they have earnings coming up. I don't think there's really too much to play on that one. DKNG, again, we've talked about this being a failure. Watch the 36s. If that 34 is not 30, fill the gap. AirBnB, not too much here going on. Just, obviously, it looks like it's just waiting for earnings, but I don't see how the earnings are going to be good. In my opinion, if you see the 100-day, set an alarm, and then that's where to act. Costco, we talked about this one failing, like not really like failing, but the top being in and just chopping around here. I'd be watching the 20-day, 50-day as well. Starbucks, this name has been very interesting. So we talked about it double bottoming. Now it pops and it gaps down. Closes at the low of the day. 100-day is now support. Or sorry, 20-day. It's just worth a watch. Federal Express chopping around at the highs. A lot of indecision up here. I mean, this feels like a little bit of a trap. But, I mean, again, I'm not going to act on that. Caterpillar, we know earnings are coming up. Worth a watch. This feels like the top. Again, ex-div today. Worth a watch. Nucor, they had earnings. Let's see what they're at after hours. 164. So, just chopping around. We thought this was a short squeeze going into it. As of this point, I mean, again, I like commodities, but I'm not chasing them. That's why I just go through them pretty quickly, just in case I see an anomalies. Again, people are like, why do you do reviews live? And I'm like, 'cause this is what I would do on my own. So why not do it and record it? Watching, VALE, same thing. Just, I mean, these are all at prices that make sense long term. I just don't want to be early. I don't want to be early to the game. Arrow, again, we like long-term copper plays. Absolutely. Small cap, but again, nothing really to cry home about. We talked about CCJ having to hold the 200-day. So far, so good. CF, here you go, chopping around. We talked about them oversold bounces on all these names. Again, just let them throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's the gift. NTR, same thing. Know your levels. Aaron, again, we like aluminum. Let it come on down. It's looking a little oversold because, again, the candles are starting to shrink. You probably have some support at 34. So if you wanted to play a trade for a bazounce, there you go. XLF, again, we talked about this one. Blowing out, crushing shorts. Now the 8 and 10-day. It looks like the top is in. JP Morgan, who wants to buy the stock if they won't even buy out back their stock now? They're telling you exactly what they think. Morgan Stanley Morgan, again, pops for earnings. Now giving it back. Bank of America. I mean, I was watching this one today. I was like, this one was making new lows. Goldman Sachs, again, just worth watching. Holding 8, 10-day. Carry, we talked about this. Getting excited, right? Like we're in that gap fill, no doubt fail zone. I mean, I think you can start taking stabs at this in time. Not even in time. I mean, near term. Keep it on. XBI, we talked about this breaking out, chopping, giving back. That's going to be tough. XHB, I mean, this is where it gets real interesting, right? Like housing, are you kidding? The blowout top here. It's just now what price do you short at? And again, that's the key is this, in my opinion, just finding the best position where you can define your risk and put a tight stop. Maybe $1. TAN, again, we've talked about solar being crap, oversold. Not surprised it's getting a little bounce here. Not surprised. I don't know. I don't need to really talk too long about them. You've got the levels, not much. First Solar, we talked about, got pounded from 310 to 220s. 210, I mean, I don't know. That's 100 points real quick. Gaps up. This is a name, though, I wouldn't be quick to reshort. Just patience on this. Corporate debt, I mean, I was watching this day. Like, really? Okay, somebody wants it. Not me. No, not me. USO, talked about oil. I mean, it's going to play its games. Natural gas, again, I hate the UNG, but we talked about it due for a bounce. Cool. Cold, I mean, now you have some references near 70. I think this makes some real good sense. Again, this is why you got to love shorting this thing. This is a decaying product. Holler at your boy on that one. XOP, we've talked about holding the 142s. Again, when Trump's leading, I feel like oil and gas will hold up. Now that, again, the candidates that are coming out, everything that's happening, it kind of gets a little nerve-wracking, in my opinion, near term, to know what's right. Just keep an eye on this stuff, okay? CVE, because, again, I don't think I'd be shorting these names, but I also don't know if I'd be buying them with the risk-reward. Chopping around, oil and gas, like these gasoline names have been pounded. Chopping around, MPC, same thing. Chop. ExxonMobil, here you go. Hits up the range highs, gives it back. Oxy, again, look at this big-ass trading range, right? Buffett's just ain't going to do nothing with that. I'm just sorry, folks. EQT, again, I like this long-term, but again, it's a big-ass trading range. And same with Flex, LNG, big trading range. I think we'll be natural gas exporters. So, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Let me know what I can do to help you. So, Check out all the extra education out there. Reach out. I mean, again, do the work. People who get rewarded for acting, and acting meaning doing what it takes. If you need help, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm telling you guys, I'm here for you. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you soon.